In today's YouTube video, I'm going to be showing you guys my best settings here in Warzone Season 6. If y'all enjoyed, be sure to give it a like, subscribe with notifications turned on, and let's hop into this. All right, so let's get here, break it all down for you guys. My settings, not a ton has changed for me personally, but I've altered a few different things. I know some of you guys out there really looking for settings, so let me show you guys what I'm using to be able to make it look like I have sticky aim, everything else like that, and be able to have good movement within this game. So obviously my input device is my controller. I'm not playing on mouse and keyboard. I play on controller. My edit button layout here, I play on tactical flipped, meaning that my R2 and my L2, since I play on a PlayStation 5 controller, are going to be flipped to my L1, R1. I just like that personally. It is not necessary, though I will say that if you actually are, thinking about if you don't happen to have trigger stops and you have to press in the full bottom, trigger, sometimes that can be the difference between you starting to get a shot off or aiming in versus just tapping in the top bumper and actually getting that to work. So I mean, that can statistically be faster, and that's why I have it. I don't have bumper stops. Otherwise, maybe I'd use the bottom ones, but for me, I also grew up playing on PlayStation 3 as well. So for me, it was always L1, R1. I've just kind of been accustomed to that, and I only use the bottom one I have to. But that is basically that right there. You guys don't really have to do that, but it is personal preference. Bumper ping, that's off. I don't really ever use that. Stick layout is going to be on default. My controller vibration, on or off, it doesn't matter. I've just played with it on for like the entirety of my Call of Duty career, so it feels natural to me, but you guys don't have to have it on or off. That is a personal thing right there. Trigger effect, that's just off. You don't want any haptic feedback. That is not a personal preference thing. Haptic feedback is terrible. We're not playing a campaign game. We're playing an arcade FPS multiplayer shooter here, so we want reaction time. We don't need our controller giving us that haptic feedback and making it tougher for us to press in the trigger. That's just highly unnecessary. Now let's move on down here to my horizontal and vertical stick sensitivity. So I'm on a 6.6. Basically, what this allows me to do is it allows me to be as effective as I can be at moving around, aiming, flicking around, but it also doesn't allow me to overcorrect. I had someone in my comment section say that they played on a super high sensitivity, but they dialed it back, and they were amazed at how much more accurate they were, just because, you can overcorrect very easily, and so when you dial it back in, move it down, you'll find yourself very, very accurate, being a lot more... You'll find yourself a lot more accurate, a lot more quickly, just because you're not going to be overcorrecting, going up and down, left and right. It doesn't make sense to have a super high sensitivity. So if you're at like a 10 or something like that, and you feel like you're still missing some shots, dial it down, dial it back. Another thing that's going to make a huge difference is your ADS sensitivity multiplier. So what this means is that when I have a 6.6 sensitivity, when I am shooting somebody, when I ADS, it is now 0.8 of that 6.6. So that means that it slows me down even further, thus not allowing me to overcorrect even more. So that's why people say my aim is like sticky aim when I'm actually, playing. It's because it looks kind of ridiculous. Like my aim is always locked on to center mass because I'm always aiming to center mass when I play. And also, I have the correct sensitivities to be able to kind of keep me from overcorrecting. So that is huge right there. And we're also going to aim assist and everything here in a little bit too. But sensitivity multiplier, I keep everything at a 1.0. I don't think this needs to change at all. Vertical aim axis, I mean, this is all just on standard stuff here. We're gonna go down here. My aim science behavior, of course, is on hold. This is just sprint, tack, sprint, focus. Automatic sprint, I have automatic tack sprint. This is a huge option right here because we're trying to elongate our controller's, life. Because when you constantly are mashing in that button, that's what gets you more of that stick drift, because you're kind of constantly pressing it in. You'd be surprised amount of times in a single game session, you're probably mashing in that stick. So putting on automatic tack sprints, that way you only have to hold it forward, and that will, elongate your controller's life, and you'll get less stick drift overall, because the more wear and tear you get on it, faster stick drift's going to kick in. It's kind of like one of those inevitability things, but it should elongate its life quite a bit more. Equipment behaviors on hold, weapon mount activations, ADS plus melee, prioritize, interact is gonna be my interact / reload behavior. This is the best one to have on for Warzone. This allows me to run over everything, pick up everything super fast, and even when I just want to, reload, I can either tap it if there's nothing on the ground, then I'll just tap to reload, or I'll hold to reload when there is a whole bunch of stuff around me. Sometimes it gets a little bit cumbersome just because you're kind of close to something but not, so you just have to move away. It's all right, but this is definitely the best way to be able to use your interact reload behavior. Definitely run prioritize interact. Armor plate behavior, you want to have that on apply all, because you want to just be able to hold down triangle, or I believe it's maybe Y or something like that, whatever it is on Xbox, that top button right there. You definitely want to be able to just hold it down once and then have your plate all the way up. It is super beneficial. It gets your, fingers, your thumb back on the sticks. You're able to move around and everything. Now let's move into the advanced category here. So we're going to take a look at my target aim assist. Of course, that is on. There's no reason to ever turn this off. If someone tells you aim assist is OP, then you need to turn it off. You're not good because you use aim assist. Don't listen to them. Aim assist is necessary for controllers, though I will say in this game, in comparison to Warzone 1, it is unbelievably strong. It's very strong in this game. Like, it's the strongest we probably ever had. So, understand that. But now down to aim assist type, we're gonna be playing on Black Ops. So early on, Black Ops was basically like traditionally a lot more stickier than focusing, precision, or default. And even though they technically nerfed it like in season 2 or something like that, it's still, in my opinion, the best one to be able to run. I've been running Black Ops, and if any of you guys have seen my gameplay, y'all have seen my aim. You should definitely be, knowing that Black Ops is the way to go. So definitely run that. ADS aim assist on. Third person ADS correction type is just on assist. Aim response curve type, this is another one you guys need to pay attention to. So standard is okay. Linear basically is a 1-to-1 ratio of, stick input versus how you move. Personally, I prefer to play on dynamic because that allows for a bit of a ramp / slow down. So what that means is that I can make those small flick movements so that it ramps up really fast. That allows me, even that on that slower sensitivity, to kind of get that full 6-6 as opposed to linear where it's more of that 1-to-1 ratio. So I had to still, I have to do it the entire way through. I can move it just a little bit, get that nice flick, but then as soon as I want to ADS in or something like that, it starts to slow down. Basically slow me down and making my aim look a lot stickier. So dynamic, in my opinion, is the best way to go when it comes down to your aim response curve type. Definitely try dynamic. If you're playing on standard or linear, you'll thank me later. ADS density multiplier. This is just on a 1.0 right here. Transition time, you got to put that on instant. Custom sensitivity per zoom, that's off. We don't need that. I don't believe that's necessary. Keep everything the same, so no matter what gun you pick up, everything feels the exact same. Every optic is supposed to feel slightly different. Obviously, a sniper optic versus a red dot is supposed to be a little bit different. You do not need custom sensitivity per zoom. That is just way too many different settings in here, and it's just not necessary. I mean, no one's using an 8 to 9 times zoom. Why do you have to correct that? You don't even use that. Input dead zone. This is going to be, for me, on a 0-0. So it starts off, I believe, at a 0.10. Then I move down to a 0.7, then a 0.5, then a 0.3, and now I'm just basically at a 0-0 because I like as close to that raw input as possible. So my controller is overclocked, and that's basically just speeding up my USB port, which my controller is plugged into. So I get great response time like that. But also on game, I don't really want to have any dead zone on my stick. As soon as I move that stick, I want that movement. But I will say this, though, that when I am tuning my guns, I do have to bump this up to a 0.13 or something like that, because otherwise I have a little bit of stick drift. So I will catch that tuning, and those sliders will go haywire. So be on the lookout, though. Just, switch it out here real quick to 0.13, 0.13 if you're going to be tuning, but play on it like a 0-0 or something like that. For me, I like that. I'd recommend, though, to get as low as possible that you feel comfortable with, because the lower the dead zone you have, basically the faster you're going to be able to react. And obviously, Call of Duty isn't, arcade FPS. It's all about reaction time. So the faster you can react, the better. Left stick, right stick, that's just, at 0.99, just kind of kept it there. Left trigger, right trigger, that's at a 0-0. Do not need any dead zone for that. As soon as I press it in, to be able to throw a grenade, throw a throwing knife, anything else like that, I want that to be just right there. Controller orientation is on up. Gyro behavior, we don't even mess with any of this gyro stuff, so I'm just going to kind of skip right over it. There's no sense of having this. That's just on, just in case. I don't really, otherwise there's no reason for that to be on, but pretty much everything is off because no one uses the gyro stuff. That's just not beneficial. Don't even know why that's even a setting. Movement behaviors, auto move forward is off. Tactical sprint behavior is double tap. That is if I'm going to have not automatic attack sprint on. Random mantle is off. This is kind of what allows me to kind of move around and not automatically, mantle onto stuff. Automatic airborne mantle off. Ground mantle is off. You want all this stuff pretty much off, because the more, let's say you're trying to jump shot and you're near something, you're going to try, your character, if you have any of this stuff on, is going to kind of randomly maybe grab onto it behind you. And all of a sudden you're not ADSing anymore, and someone's actually going to be able to take you out because now you're hip firing and they're ADSing. So it got super, super annoying when I was dealing with that constantly. So I turned all of it off, and my life is significantly better. So if you end up getting into a gunfight with someone that's got that on and they jump shot and there's something nearby, it might just mantle onto it and get themselves killed. So keep this on off. Inverse slide behavior, dive behavior, that's just kind of inverted. Plunging underwater is just on movement. Parachute auto deploy, I keep that on personally just because I'm prone to splatting on the ground. I don't be dying to that fall damage, you know what I'm saying, but I don't know, sometimes I just be coming in and I just be hitting the ground. That's happened to me a few too many times, and so I just keep it on. Sprinting door bash on, and then ledge hanging mantle behavior is just mantle only. Now let's go down to my combat behavior. So ADS stick swap off, Mac pedal alternate control is off. Weapon mount exit is just on. Weapon mount exit delay is short. You want that to be as short as possible. We do not need any of this to be elongated. COD is supposed to be, you know, a fast-paced, snappy game. We do not need to have any of these crazy animations going. We just need this to be off. Depleted ammo switch is on. Quick C4 detonation is off. I don't ever use C4. And then vehicle behaviors, this is just kind of down here, but basically nothing down here is too important. All right, so I want to get into this here. Even though this is not technically a controller setting, this is definitely like a good setting for anyone out there. My field of view is on 120, and I'll say this right now. I've had comments on TikTok plenty where people are like, oh my gosh, you cannot play at 120. You got to go down to 119. Otherwise, your aim assist is bad. That is a myth. That is not a thing that has been confirmed by J God himself. I talk to him regularly. Like, this has been confirmed. 120 is fine, and I feel like I'm living proof that 120 is fine because I be playing on it all year, and I've been hitting a lot of shots. People accuse me for hacking every single day on Facebook. Like, I got hundreds of comments. People accuse me for sticky aim, walls, hacks, aimbot. Like, listen, it's my aim assist ain't going nowhere. So field of view on 120. I just recommend this because it's the highest possible. It gives you the most general, you know, sight around you. You want to be able to see that. ADS field of view should be unaffected, not independent, because if you're playing on 120 and you're playing on independent, you are going to literally zoom all the way into ADFOV as soon as you ADS on your gun. What that does, it makes it so you can't see stuff around you more. Also, that just for me personally looks really weird. And you're also going to get more visual recoil on your guns because everything's made so much larger on your screen, on the like your ADS, like your iron sights, whatever. So we do not need to have more visual recoil on the screen. Keep it locked out to 120, keep it unaffected. And that way your guns look like they have less visual recoil just because you're farther back. It's smaller. So sometimes if you have bad eyesight, maybe that messes with you, then maybe I understand independent. But if for any of us that have pretty decent eyesight out here, like me, I'm perfectly fine and don't need glasses, just throw it on affected. Weapon field of view, actually I could keep this on narrow. My bad, I don't even know why it was on wide. I've just been having it, I did some graphics driver updates, so some of the stuff actually changed, but it should actually be on narrow. We don't need our gun to be taking up more of our screen than it really should. Third person field of view, keep that maxed out on 90. Vehicle field of view is on default. And all this stuff down here, first person camera movement, keep that on 50%. That is the least possible. The less camera movement we have when like stupid stuff is happening, the better. So first and third, keep it on that. And basically that is all you really need to know. Nice little fun thing here at the end to be able to show you guys. I always play with the giant dot in the center of my screen. I don't really have crosshairs, but because I've been using a shotgun, I end up turning these on to static. If you're gonna keep them on, put them on static. That is the best way to be able to have them. But otherwise, I just keep it on off. What you're gonna do is you wanna have the center dot on, which allows you to have that dot center in your screen, which really helps you out with centering on your targets. Your center dot scale should be on largest, and that makes it so it's very, very easy to be able to see. This is just in the interface category, by the way. And apart from that, something you guys should also do just to make your game even look better is go in here also in the interface category to your color customization. And this should be on color filter 2. Color filter target should be on both. World color intensity should be on 100. Interface color intensity should also be on 100. And then you guys can probably just keep this on default. I don't know why this ended up turning to Tritnopia. That's another one of those things that my graphics drivers did, but that should be on default. And here's how you can set up your colors. This is just really, really easy to be able to see, and highly recommend this because this will change the way your game looks, make it look a little bit more vibrant, and everyone likes that. That's all I got for you guys here today. If you guys enjoyed, be sure to give it a like, subscribe, notifications turned on, and of course, check out this other video on screen. I'll see you guys all next time.